Two dads and a Chaz putting trophies on the wall. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads and a Chaz talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads and a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads and a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, the Green Bay Packer podcast with the Dad Bodcast. Oh, this was a tough one, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's always rough when you are going up against a divisional opponent like ours that we're used to just stomping the hell out of. And, after Brett Favre went there, after being with the Jets for 1 year, it was another just bit of dirt right in our eye. However, we're going to say onward and upward. We're going to talk some mad shit about our own team. Today, we do have a special guest coming on. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got cheese in your veins, beer on your breath, and Packers in your heart, you have come to the right place here at Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, now streaming on multiple platforms, which is YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So make sure to like, subscribe, and please, will you just share it with your friends already? Just do it. We're hilarious, and we know it. Now, let's introduce our Kings in the North. First and foremost, he's the creator of Cheesing Up on D, and his favorite place to Marco Polo is on the toilet. Let's hear it for T-Bone.
Thanks, guys. That's true, and I'm going to speak some truth to Packers power tonight. You know what, guys? It has gone from bad to worse. To say that this season is ugly is an understatement, but we still have an obligation to take a stick and poke at this corpse and just kind of report back what we find. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and you guys are gonna listen. It's gonna be great. Go Pack.
Go Pack, go. This dad cannot walk down the street without being recognized. They're always like, "Oh my God, are you BD Ty from Two Dads and a Chaz?" He's like, "Yeah, baby, you about to get over here right now. Let me give you a smooch." And he also strangely finds the DMV to be a pleasant experience. Let's give it up for BD Ty Elizabeth Wendo.
Dads, Chaz, esteemed guests, Packer fans worldwide. It was a Halloween horror show. It was the moment I lost confidence in Matt LaFleur. The eternal optimist here. I always think that next week will be the rebound week, but there's no coming back from that. It was the jury has enough evidence to convict, and I'm just so sorry that had to happen that way, but damn, he sucks.
Ooh, spitting some fire there, Ty. This next dad holds the world record for consecutive hits to the nuts by a stranger in a 12-hour period and is the new spokesman for the wonderful beverage known as Dick Punch. Let's give it up for my hetero life mate, the porcelain prince himself, Aaron Mayhew.
Chaz, thank you as always, and I wish it were untrue to all of our listeners out there, but no, 3 shots to the crotch within a 24-hour period, the Packers game included. I'm gonna leave it there, and let's continue on and dive into the details, Chaz.
You got it. As you know, I am Chaz. Oh, hey, baby. I am Chaz, your host with the most, who sings like an angel and dances like the devil, also known as AKA the Wisco Kid. I will be steering this crazy ship that is apparently either going to sink or we're going to have some weird kind of comeback. But before we move on into the first quarter, we want to introduce a very special guest who was here with us last week. Let's give it up for Andy Reish, Viking fan extraordinaire, and somehow all of our friend. Let's give it to him. How you doing, brother?
Dads and Chaz, what's happening, baby? I always come here with energy, passion, and a smile, whether I get my ass kicked or I'm on the other side of that coin. So happy to be here, happy to analyze, and happy to lift your spirits tonight.
Yeah.
And we're happy to
Yeah.
have you, brother. We're
Yeah.
very happy to have you. This pod. What were you gonna say, Ty? Go ahead.
The main reason we're having you back is to show that we're no punks, right? Win or lose, we're not afraid of what's coming our way. And the insight from the divisional rivals is always great. So appreciate you having me on.
And keep
Couldn't
in
have said
mind,
it better myself.
we would have been total dicks about it. Just make that clear.
Oh yeah, if we don't win by
100%.
17, this would have been merciless.
100%, 100%,
So
100%.
don't feel like you need to be kind because we wouldn't have been.
No.
Understood.
Definitely not. It would have been bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Got it.
For sure. But we're gonna keep this one a little open-ended this week, ladies and gentlemen, because there's only so much negative we can talk about this game. But I want to ask our guests first and foremost, what did you think of this game, my friend? And by that, I don't mean just how you guys performed. How do you think we performed? Because I imagine in all the times that we've met in the last couple of years, this play was kind of next level bad. And was it surprising to you? Or was it more like on par, like, oh, we know we're going to beat them, but like this seemed a little worse than usual. So, Reish, what were your initial impressions just of the Packers?
Yeah, high level. This went exactly to the script I expected. I was kind of coming in at that 23-17, 21-18, ugly ass first half. Pack might be ahead, Vikes might be ahead, but it's going to be ugly. Well, what did we see? The Vikings shanked the field goal, squandered a ton of opportunities. It's 10-0. The Packers miss a field goal, and we're offsides. And so then the Packers get to re-kick the field goal while I'm not even in the damn room. I'm taking a dump. And I come back, and I wonder how it's 10-3, So first half went to script. What didn't go to script was the second half, and really the only reason for that was you asked for my Packers analysis. The absolute coaching debacle that we saw from Matt LaFleur and my coach in the fourth quarter in the last 4 minutes was inexcusable for coaches at that level.
Absolutely.
We're down to a third string quarterback. You guys are on the 20-yard line. If you kick a field goal, it is an 11-point game. And our backup quarterback is a third stringer who's never thrown the ball in his career. We don't have a run game. We have the 30th ranked run game in the NFL. So if I am Matt LaFleur on 4th and 19, I'm going to kick a field goal. I'm going to kick it deep. I'm going to get a 3-and-out. I'm going to get the ball back. I'm going to kick another field goal or score a touchdown, get a 3-and-out, and I got a chance to win the game. Period. End of story.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's coming from a Vikings fan. That's from a Vikings fan saying, what the hell are you doing? I mean, just some random facts. I mean, in the first half that already were boggling, I think all of us were. I mean, we can talk penalties and we're going to, but like those two back-to-back personal fouls for 30 yards. I mean, what the hell are we talking about? What was happening there? And I mean, no first downs in the first quarter. That's 3-and-outs for only 15 yards. Again, we're going to break this down. We're going to talk a lot of shit about our own team tonight, but I also want to get some initial impressions from some of the other guys. First and foremost, Tyson, what did you think, buddy?
Oh man, I don't know what I did to deserve this, because I swear this is a blue collar fan base. We work hard. We really look forward to our Packers. We take it seriously. And I honestly, man, I just feel like I didn't think that it could get worse than it was last week, and it got substantially worse. Mm-hmm. And I feel betrayed. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be a hard year. I knew we were going to go through growing pains. I was expecting that. I wasn't expecting us to completely have to watch our team develop lifelong football scars from lack of confidence, watching us completely fall apart before my very eyes, position by position, one by one, taking turns, making sure that we maintain momentum. Unfortunately, it's negative momentum. Like momentum's real on both sides, guys. And I'm seeing a team that can't stop the momentum that is negative right now.
I can't pass to Utah to ask about your opinions yet without bringing the elephant in the room in front of everybody, which is, I mean, I literally remember a week ago talking to you about that. What's his name? The quarterback, Jordan Love. Wasn't that him?
That
he
guy.
throws a really catchable ball, doesn't he? Doesn't he just throw the most catchable ball you've ever seen?
I said that was his plus and minus. I said that's a good thing about Jordan Love.
I love you, but I gotta roast you.
I
gotta quote you on this one, bud. So
it's true.
So tell me initial thoughts, buddy. Yeah.
The game overall was pathetic. And it comes down to the coach being the worst coach in the league right now. The penalties. We had 10 penalties before we were out of the first quarter. I flipped over to the Steelers game. They got their first penalty in like the last 30 seconds of the game. First penalty all day. One. And it was on some garbage time punt bullshit. We couldn't get out of the first quarter without half a season's worth. Like, it was just. And that comes down to preparation. That comes down to guys. There are two types of penalties in the NFL, I really think. The first one being is you're outmatched or you're outgunned, right? The guy's just bigger than you and you're wrestling with a bigger guy. The other one is you didn't show up ready for that shit and they're smarter than you. The Packers weren't getting beat physically. They were getting beat mentally, and they were one step behind, and that's what led to all that nonsense. But it comes down to preparation. Matt LaFleur must run the laziest practice in the entire NFL. He's just, I think he's a wannabe liked, maybe Pete Carroll style, I'll play their tunes on my boombox kind of guy. But it doesn't, it does not get results.
Yeah.
It does, and it's if everything is just happy fun time at practice and they're just running through the 2-minute drill like your kids, like, that's not winning football. Matt LaFleur has dropped the ball on this one. He's screwed us all because the talent's there.
One of my favorite Packer podcasters talked about that recently, which is John Meerdink was of Blue 42 podcast, which, by the way, make sure you all listen and subscribe to that guy. Yeah. Tyson turned me on to him, and he's probably one of my favorites. And he was talking about there are things that you obviously learn day one of football, or like you come back as a freshman in high school, or you come back even as, playing little league essentially. But there are things that you just know to practice day one. It's the count. It's the count at the line. That's not something you need to be discussing at the NFL level. So when you have mistakes like this consistently, where these guys are jumping and we're getting penalties like this is a fucking problem that should not be happening in professional Packers fucking football. Having said that, about more initial thoughts, Mayhew, let's hear a little bit. Oh, he's cracking beers. This isn't good.
Thank you for looping me in, Chaz. The boys hit on all the relative points that I think everybody in Packer Nation is continuing to talk about. But Reish, I got to tell you, this would be the first time I was ever jealous of quarterback play from Kirk Cousins. Honestly, in comparison, he felt like he was a fucking like magician, laying the ball where it needed to be, just like hitting quarterbacks in stride. And I look at Jordan Love. I know it's not all there for him. Okay. The offensive line is not great. Penalties, absolutely incredible. Like the youngest wide receiver core, tight end core, maybe in NFL history. But it's a difference between those people not winning their routes and just being wildly inaccurate at the same time. Like, look, I'm not expecting perfection, but it's not like we're getting beat talent-wise. We seem confused out there and misled in a lot of ways. Now, the other thing I want to say here, gentlemen, is week by week, it feels like a fucking formula for me now. It is a formula. I come in with high expectations. Reish, you weren't privy to this, but I laid out the score, 35-17, thought we were going to lose, but I wake up Sunday and I'm like, you know what? I feel like it's going to be ugly, but the Packers are going to find a way to do it at home. But you know what they do? They do fucking dick in the first half. And I'm talking offensively. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. The defense, meanwhile, is like doing, I think, adequate what they should do. You know what I mean? And then we get into the second half and I'm like, you know what? Maybe we're going to pull it out. And it always comes down to this, like, it's in reach. It's like kind of in reach, and it's called hope, gentlemen. They continue to give us some glimmer of hope, only to have it ripped away for us to realize that this team is miles away from being competitive, like in any fucking fashion.
But we at least have to talk about this damn trade deadline bullshit, and essentially this crazy shit going on with Rasul. Anybody can take a piece of this, but I do want to put something up in the background while we talk about it.
Well, I will say this: there's definitely pros and cons to this move, and you could argue for both sides, and you'd be right for both.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want to get rid of Rasul and get equity for him argument is a fair one. We got him as a practice squad pickup from the Arizona Cardinals 3.5 seasons ago, or 2.5 seasons ago, whatever it was. He was the solution to a problem. We had no one there. Him and Stokes kept us in contention for a whole season. He ended up being one of the most consistent playmakers, though he gives up plays. He made plays consistently. But you're going to get something. You're getting a third round pick essentially, and you're clearing $7.5 million off your books next year when we are in a financial shit show. Let's not forget for a second here, folks, that we have $40 million we're paying this year for a dude who is at a Knicks game right now, healing up from an ACL that works for another team.
There are far more players that I'm disappointed with other than Rasul. He was a freelance journeyman, came in, we sent him back a star. Like, way to go. Like, Packers can actually make somebody good. Like, that's fine.
Just to tag on to that, numbers wise, just throwing this out there, boys, being completely out of Douglas, he gave up 5 catches for 83 yards on only 6 targets in his coverage this weekend.
Yeah.
And he also committed a penalty. So it's one of those things where we all kind of love him, but numbers wise, maybe this isn't the craziest thing in the world if we're looking at that.
And I feel like this is what we were talking about with Darnell Savage last year. It was this constant: is he good? Is he bad? Do we love him? Do we hate him?
Thanks.
I mean, yeah, we love when he goes for pick sixes, but other than that, like, what? I think we're mad about being mad right now, guys. I think that as fans, anything that these guys do that isn't even remotely 100% in our team's best effort, no matter what they're doing, no matter who they're getting or who they're trading, we're just upset. We're just fucking upset about it.
And how do you feel good about ever acquiring a third round pick? Look at that list. Look at that list of fuck ups that we have in the third round exclusively, or people that like just don't have impact.
Rishi, I gotta say, you felt pretty confident going into this game that you guys were trending in the right direction. We were trending down. We did lose at the end of the day, but were you impressed by what your team put on the field? And also, your fucking quarterback is shot. What's the plan for the future here, buddy?
Yeah, I'm going to address that. But first, I want to give you an outsider's view on that trade, if I may.
You may not.
Okay, right on. Let's move on to the game analysis. No, that's
kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's a classic buy low, sell high. Okay. On the pregame show, Ty and Tyson both went out of their way to compliment that, hey, the Vikings sometimes go down for a year or two and come back, right? I think Ty said once every 5 years, dangerous with like a 15 or 2. And Tyson said, hey, they always stay liquid with cash, and that keeps them competitive, and they know how to manage the cap. You guys aren't used to being bad ever. So this is when you're bad, you got to make financial moves to be good again soon. And this is a good move for you guys to dump this guy because he could be the greatest shutdown in the corner in the world. He's a shutdown corner on a 4-13 team. Who gives a shit?
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Back to your question about how I feel about the team. First of all, great first 3 quarters. Kirk Cousins, I'll quote myself. I said we had 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. We had 99 problems, but Kirk Cousins was not one. He was our best player. So he was great. First 3 quarters went to script. The defense was nasty. We were having an ugly win. I liked it. how I feel about the team now is really different than how I felt about the team, um, in the first
I
three
bet.
quarters.
Ruptured Achilles tendon.
Right. So real quick on the game, I'm a huge fan of Kevin O'Connell, but we have a third string rookie and we're up by 14. And the first 3 passes of this third string rookie's quarterback career came from our own end zone, up by 14. He fumbled. He should have been picked. Total debacle. And I love Kevin O'Connell's aggressiveness. Totally overplayed his hand there. And we should have lost the game if LaFleur would have just got a calculator out and figured out he could kick a few field goals and win the game. So not super impressed with the game, Mayhew, to answer your question directly, but I'm excited about the win. In terms of moving forward, we just traded for a guy named Josh Dobbs, who's got an 8-year career with 6 different teams. He did start 6 games this year, so he's up to speed on current day NFL defenses and watching film, but he's more of a runner than a passer. He's not going to be a difference maker. We got a third stringer who's starting his first game this weekend. We'll see how he does out of BYU. A lot of people like him, especially Mormons. And we got Nick Mullins, who used to be an Okie State quarterback, who's pretty decent. We got Sean Mannion, who's think of like Todd Peterson, right? Like Brett Favre's old backup, except not as smart, not as good, and not as good looking, just kind of tall and weird. That's Mannion. So we got this Brady Bunch group that I don't know what to expect, but I think our defense is good enough and our coaching staff is good enough that we can claw our way to 9-8. That's kind of where I'm at.
What do we do? What do we do in this position right here? Both of our teams. What do you do now? Are you trying to win every game at this point, or are you trying to set up for your potential quarterback replacement for Kirk Cousins? Also, are you guys thinking re-sign Kirk Cousins now on the cheap, or are you guys thinking you're gonna let this guy walk or hobble away and just replace him with someone else?
Yeah, I think for the Vikings perspective, we're in the playoffs, 3 out of every 5 years, and some years are just ugly and grimy and injury riddled, and that's what you're going to have here. But I think we shoot for 9-8, and then you try to re-sign Cousins on the cheap. This gives you leverage in those negotiations, and you put a 3 or 4 year deal in front of him and take him to retirement. Would be my approach if I was in charge, because he's a good ball player, man. And we should rally behind him.
And I'll tell you, they're surrounding him with talent. Jordan Addison is a fucking gamer. That guy was eating us alive all Sunday. Justin Jefferson comes back. Hawkinson, you guys have some tools.
Is he getting that magic Achilles fix that Aaron's getting with that new whatever the hell?
Yeah, I doubt it, dude. I think Kirk is going to soak this one up. You guys want to chase me out of town, and I hear about all this bullshit all these years. Good luck getting to the playoffs. Come talk to my agent after the season,
Right.
In terms of the Packers, though, which I think is more interesting and more to the point here.
You hear that?
You guys really, I don't think we call it a dumpster fire. I don't think that's where you're at. But what I would do is you got to find out right now, right here, at this very moment, is Jordan Love my guy or not? And
vote right now. If you have to decide today,
everybody across the board,
does Jordan Love have it? Yay or nay?
Mm.
Ty, does Jordan Love have it?
Yes, eventually.
Okay.
He doesn't have it today, but I can go.
That's it. That's it.
Yay or nay?
That's all you get.
Yay or nay?
That's all you get.
All right.
Chaz.
I am one of the most optimistic, but nay. No.
Okay. Rishi, what are you thinking? Yay or nay?
So Jordan Love is the reincarnation of Tavares Jackson. No.
Yeah. I see Brett Hundley too. Mayhew, what are you thinking? Yay or nay?
Neither of those.
It's the same, fellas. I've tried to support this guy as long as I can, and I'm not saying he couldn't be a serviceable quarterback. No, he is not the guy. He's not elite. He's yeah. Are you making it black and white? Yeah, it's a nay. It's a nay. It's a nay.
Listen, guys, I know you're wondering what I'm thinking, and I
No.
do love Jordan Love, and I there has been no cheerleader with a shorter skirt than mine for the Jordan Love squad. Okay, I mean, I was showing both cheeks. All right, I was into it. All right, but the problem is that is Jordan Love? Does he have the potential to be great or even good? Yeah, he definitely showed in that game. There were you guys, there were 5 balls that our wide receivers straight up dropped that were money, that were like an
Yeah, you're right.
awesome, incredible throw on the fucking, like a very low percentage throw that he pulled off, and they did not aggressively catch the ball, though it was in both of their fucking hands. Okay.
And that was
It
indicative
happened a
of what the
bunch of
whole
times.
rest of the
5
game
I
would
counted.
be.
I counted 5 from players I respect and like. Regardless, I don't feel that we are in a position to think that Jordan Love is the kind of quarterback that can take a team that's bad, that's got no talent, and be the kind of quarterback and leader that's going to make up for that and rise us up to a point of contention that we can compete against anybody.
Then
He doesn't have it, though.
Not yet. No, Tyson.
But do you see the first?
I can pull up examples. I can pull up examples from this very game that will show you the variety that of tools that Jordan Love has. All right, he has a deep throw to Reed on the money over the middle on like a 30-yard post, hits him. There's the touchdown to Dobbs. That was a timing throw, back shoulder, flailed it. He had thrown that ball before Dobbs had even made his cut. That ball hit Dobbs in the numbers. The being sacked. While being sacked, he throws a 15-yard strike to Dontavian Wicks. First down. That's an easy recap of some good. And yes, there was a lot of like bullshit, line of scrimmage, overthrow to the running back, nonsense. It was hard to endure. But there's a lot of upside on Jordan Love. It's just he has never seen that situation before. 4th and 16, okay, I'm going to run for it. He goes 15 yards, puts his shoulder down, and he tries to plow through 2 guys. But its situational awareness was good. Coverage awareness was good. Realizing his offensive line was not going to fucking help him and taking off was good. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not terrible. He is in a terrible spot when it comes to coaching, and he's going to get no help from them. Mayhew?
Ty, you hit on everything that I've thought recently. This kid is like a fucking roller coaster. Every week, I'm like, I fucking think he's the problem. I think it's like, hey, he's just not surrounded with talent. He's not doing, not giving good coaching with his offensive line play. But for me, I think if you're going to be in the NFL, you can be serviceable and you can hit those passes like you're describing occasionally. But if you're not consistent, if you're not raising the play of people around you,
the 3 and outs is impossible. You can't.
Yeah, you're just not elite, dude. He's such a good kid. He's done everything right the entire time, and I wanted him to like be the guy. I really did. But I'm looking at it, man, and I've never seen somebody hit a beautiful pass 30 yards downfield in stride, and then on an easy out hit the fucking guy drinking a beer in the first row in the fucking stands. It's like, dude, what do you like? The inconsistency and the accuracy.
Reese, you had your hand raised, and I really appreciated that you had your hand raised. You obviously had something to say to Mayhew about this.
So, Ty, Mayhew, Tyson, Chad, welcome to the confessional.
Oh,
I've seen this story. I know where it ends. Okay. From someone that hasn't had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks over the last consecutive 30 years. Let me tell you how this story ends. There's a young man I'd like to tell you about named Christian Ponder.
Don't
and another.
No, I don't want
to. Hang on, let me finish.
It's not the same story.
And another beautiful young man named Tavares Jackson. And
oh boy.
Let me tell you what happens. You get these guys on a low salary cap number on rookie deals. You build a star team around them, and you go 10-8 one year, you go 8-10 the next year. You get a wild card hot team that goes maybe wins a playoff game, and then you go 5-11 the next year and tank it. These guys, the key to success in the NFL at the quarterback position is about one word and one word only, and that is consistency. Jordan Love is not consistently accurate with his football that he throws. And until that changes, he will not change. He could go to the Steelers and win 10 games tomorrow if you build a perfect team around him. But the Steelers aren't winning the Super Bowl with this guy, and neither are you.
Yeah, you're
Bingo.
stealing my line first off. And
Yeah.
please don't bring Christian Ponder to the fucking table. Can we
That's
just
who
like
he
remove
is,
that
dude.
entirely?
I think it's a
Also,
great comp. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good comp, Reish. I see it for sure.
I just want to make sure that Jordan Love doesn't get run over when Matt LaFleur's first half plan is to send Jordan Love out into the huddle and tell him to draw some routes on the palm of his hand. I think that when you've got such dysfunction at the coaching level and the fact that the offense is, I mean, they couldn't keep themselves on the field, but the defense, the scheme's not getting better. Cousins owned us, but he owned us in the same 20 yards in the middle of the field. I mean, it was the same thing Goff did to us. It's the same thing anybody can do to us. Just take the 20 yards in the middle of the field. So there's so many other factors, and I just don't want to like penalize Love for some odd balls when yeah, Jazz is all over it already. But it's I think he's really just doing the best any quarterback would do in this situation. I don't think you could put a better quarterback in this team and have more wins than 2 right now.
I don't see this turning around and Matt LaFleur still being our head coach. That's the way I'm looking at things right now. I don't see even Jordan Love being the quarterback when this team starts executing. And I don't know where we're going to be at the end of the year. I hope things turn around and people get better. I mean, they have to, right? We can't get much worse.
We're 3 games under 500. You're acting like we're the new Browns or Jacksonville Jaguars. There was always going to be a difficult season. We are nowhere near dustbin time. Like, we are still the Packers. We will rebound. You're doing free fall because you've lost a couple games in a row. Fact of the matter is, other teams in the league have to have this 5-year plan because they don't have the money. They don't have the strategy. Packers, we're going to figure out a way. We'll end up with like more Hall of Famers, and we'll be fine. You guys, don't freak out. It's not our quarterback is not garbage. He's still a better quarterback than anything the Vikings or Bears currently have.
That's correct.
Wow.
I think that he's got the tools. He's just got some things that he needs to work on. The angles of his passes, the amount of juice that he puts on it could improve. But so that he doesn't throw such a catchable ball. I'm ready to like LaFleur. He can be fired any second now. But I think that Jordan Love got some real qualities, some leadership qualities.
Ty, it's one thing if you're a rookie, you're coming in and you're making inaccurate passes or like trying to figure out the offense. This cat has been in this offense for like fucking 3 years. So that's one. Either he's incapable of playing the position to the level that we're expecting and hoping, coming off of back-to-back Hall of Famers, or the coaches just don't know how to grow them, how to groom them. And I don't know what the answer is there. Now, what I can say is let's take a look at last year, fellas. We had the same team, but with more veteran leadership with like Alan Lazard or like whatever. And Aaron Rodgers, a Hall of Fame quarterback, couldn't do dick either. No 300-yard passing games. Running game was fucking a mess. The defense, it's the same thing repeating itself, but only we're younger and we have Jordan Love. So, Reish, can we talk about more of like the Vikings shortcomings real quick just to kind of bring this thing back?
I'll give you some highlights and lowlights from a Vikings perspective of the game. Highlight, you win, right? Low light, this game should have been 38-10. We go 1 for 3 in the field goal game. unacceptable. None of them are like 60-yarders. They're all chip shots, so that's not good. We did accomplish our first rushing touchdown. However, we got into the red zone 3 times and got 6 points. That's how you keep a team around at home. You can't do that with a team with a good home field advantage. And then, I touched on this earlier, but it needs to be said again. Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. I love his aggressive nature. But you got a rookie third stringer. You're up by 14, and it's 3rd and 12 from your own 4. And you're going to go shotgun and try to do something? Are you out of your fucking mind? No, of course not. Because he fumbles, and the other team gets the ball in the red zone, and you give breath and life to a team that should be in a casket.
Oh, don't worry. We won't do anything with it, Reish. It's fine.
The other thing, which is the elephant in the room, or should I call it the Spartan in the room? Kirk Cousins goes down, yeah, and that's a killer. You got a team riding high. You start 0-3, you get to 1-4. You convince yourself, you claw back to 500, and you get to 7-5 or 6-6 by the bye, and it's going to be your season. And you take, like your sponsor says, you take a dick punch. And Mayhew, you had mentioned the formula that you were watching with the Packers was like dick, right? And it made me think back to your greatest sponsor. It's a dick formula. The Vikings finally get to 500. We get punched right in the groin. And I'm still coming to grips with that. So, Josh Dobbs has got some big holes to fill. And if you think about it, Dobbs, D-O-B-B-S, right? That's 5 letters. Well, very similar to Dick. We're just one short. So let's see how that goes.
Unless he pulls a Geno Smith and decides to have the greatest year of his unillustrious career in the next 8 games.
Yeah,
that's my greatest fear. When I saw that trade went through, I was like, unless he's Geno Smith and decides that like the first 7 years of his career he's not going to be very good, but this year, yeah, probably.
No, I like seriously on all levels. I do appreciate the trade by the Vikings because a third string QB that you're defaulting to is not a path forward. And for them to invest a little bit and still try to get in the playoffs, I think is the right thing to do for the fan base, and I appreciate it.
We'll ask on a positive note because shitting on this game, is not hard for any of the 5 guys sitting here right now. And really we could do 4 quarters of just that, but I do want to talk a little bit about a light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to give a little bit of light, a little bit of time to everybody, much like an opening initial thought. Can we say, what is it going to take to get us back on the road to success?
5 new offensive linemen.
That's one take.
And a new coach and a new head coach.
Oh,
and all his coordinators can leave with him.
Okay. All right. Well, now you've taken up everybody's time. Come on now. Tyson? Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear.
It's fine. I'd say we probably what's the one thing we need? What's the one?
No. I'm just saying, how do we right the ship a little bit? I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about perfect season enders like we close out this and make it into playoffs. Just something that's passable as football that we actually go. You know what? We lost this game, but we did this well.
Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to put Zach Tom at center, and I'd like to put Josh Myers in the fucking dumpster. So, I think we could do more with the offensive line that we currently have just by removing the center.
I want to ask and continue with Mayhew and saying, what is it that we need a little bit to right our ship? And then if you wouldn't mind passing it to Reish.
Oh, Chaz, thanks for including me.
Okay, thank you, Mayhew. Reish, what do we need right now to make this team better?
Kick that over to Mayhew real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm back. Okay. Yeah. Chaz, right away, my heart says HGH, amphetamines to like a certain degree. Fucking start plugging it into every player. Doesn't fucking matter. But
whatever Brett Favre was on in the 90s.
Yep. Nothing but dick pics, right? But my head,
Percocet, baby.
My head is telling me that we need to continue course, which means we're just going to continue to lose and get like that top 2, top 3 draft pick, in which case we can maybe take a different direction. And I'm being sincere. Everybody out there listening, this is reality. Look at the next 5 games. Rishi, you can touch on in a second here. What do we got? Let me pull it up. We got the Rams next week. Okay. That feels like an easy loss.
That's a loss for 100%. Yep.
Pittsburgh on the road after that one. They are
Definitely
way
a loss.
meaner. Yep, that one's done. The LA Chargers. Yep, go ahead and bank that one. Followed by Detroit. You betcha. Kansas City after that. Okay. All of a sudden, we are like, it's looking pretty bleak. Pretty bleak. And that's okay. That's okay. You take these draft picks. We got an incredible GM that's going to turn this thing around. Wait, no, we don't. We need to fire fucking everybody. That's what we need to do. Reish, on to you.
Bingo.
There's a great turnaround artist in the NFL who doesn't coach anymore, but he's a guy I respect a lot. His name was the Big Tuna, also known as Bill Parcells.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill Parcells had a great way of turning bad teams to be good quickly. And how he did it is football's not a confusing game. Typically, when you don't have the best talent, you need to simplify your game plan, like Tyson said. Turnovers have always been the key to wins or losses. Take care of the rock and take it from somebody else. And get the ball in the hands of your best players. And that's what Bill Parcells was good at. And your best players right now are your running backs with Jones and Dillon. And you get some of that end around and jet
that's
sweep.
Dion, by the way. It's Dion.
Dion. Well, you pronounce it however he wants me to. But the point is, you guys should be running. You got a mobile quarterback. Your best players are running backs. LaFleur's got a scheme which isn't very good, but it's got some jet sweeps in it and some screens, right? If the O-line can't push people around. You simplify the game, you turn the ball over, and you win old-fashioned. You control the clock, and with special teams, that's your quickest way to 6 wins this year. And then starting next year, you make a trade and you go get a QB, you get a veteran. Because let me tell you something about banking all your hope on the draft. I could list a laundry list of hundreds of quarterbacks that have sucked ass that got drafted in the first 5. Ryan Leaf, Justin Fields, anyone that's ever played for the Bears. There's a whole list of these guys that you tear it down to the studs for that burn your ship or Viking ship to the bottom of the ocean quick. So just be careful what you wish for before you tear it to the studs. Simplify your approach, win the turnover battle, excel in special teams, and make a trade for a guy that can throw the rock. That's my opinion.
I got to say, that's a fucking hot take from Andy Reish right there. Tyson, I know you want to have a rebuttal, but before you do, I just want to say, give it up for Andy Reish for coming back here, being a real fucking gentleman, and really giving it up. You're one of my favorite guests that we have every year. Teddy, I don't know where you've been, but I know you're listening, so fucking figure it out. Tyson, I want a quick rebuttal, but then after that, we have to go to the next quarter. So
I wasn't going to rebuttal. I was just going to say, Andy, I love what you're saying for the offense. I would maybe if you're a shitty offense, you'd think RPOs would be your best friend. And if Nick Foles can win a fucking Super Bowl with RPOs, I feel like that is the strength of this offense. And I'll be honest, it was when Aaron Rodgers was running RPOs, that was when we were winning MVPs. Like, that was a good look.
I just have to disagree with Reish because it's like in my nature here. You know what I mean? And I appreciate what you're saying. Anybody worth their salt in this league is not going to be given up. You know what I mean? So it's like scraps. It's scraps of any kind of veteran or anybody that's like relevant, right? Now, what this team has been lacking, in my opinion, across the board is a fucking plan. Any kind of like coherent plan. And we're going to touch on this later once we kick you out of this fucking pod. God damn it, Reish. Let me center up here. Apologize. But you're dropping players like, hey, you don't know what you're going to get. Justin Fields, like that guy was outside the top 10. What was the other one you dropped too? Like, these are not legitimate quarterbacks. I'm talking about 2 in particular that I have my eye on. Caleb Williams, Drake May out of North Carolina. These feel like legitimate game changers. And you yourself talked about how Jordan Love is not the guy. You know, just like we are. So like, what are we trying to do here? So my point is like, you get within that realm of like draft picks, you rebuild and you admit that you're rebuilding, and then you can take a step forward. You know what I mean? You can't just keep swimming in this realm of mediocrity. And as I say this, I realize that this is like the first losing season I've ever encountered, and I might be overreacting, Reish. I might be overreacting. My point is, this man is talking about Christian Ponder and shit. It's like, Reish, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of where this team is at and what I think it needs to turn around. And that's like the direction I'm heading. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. It's better than yours, but I mean, you should talk too.
So no, it's fair, right?
Let's mute him.
The other one I referenced was Ryan Leaf. If you ever remember that disaster,
dude, come on.
Oh, you mean Tim Tebow? Yeah,
Ryan Leaf
guys,
is your example.
remember
Like
how
we
great
can,
he was?
you know.
I'm just telling you. Listen, I'm telling you guys as a friend. You're in the confessional right now. Okay, I know we're on a pod that's Packers based, but I'm bringing you into the Viking confessional. You go look at the last 15 years of first round draft picks, and I want you guys to print that list and go over it when I'm not here. And you circle how many guys were here more than 5 years and what impact they had. I'm just telling you, the list is very small.
Of quarterbacks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would completely disagree. Completely disagree.
Really? Okay.
I'm saying as far as misses, absolutely. But I mean, I can pull it up right now. Like we got.
I mean, look at anyone the Jets have drafted in the last decade. Start there and work your way back.
But right in front of him was Trevor Lawrence. Is like my point. If you can grab that right guy, you know what I mean? It's a world of difference, dude. It's a world of difference.
Fair.
Joe Burrow has only taken his team to the playoffs like 2 consecutive years, and
Sure.
been a couple snaps away. Like, you know, like. I'm not saying Jordan Love is that guy. I'm just saying he is not like, I'm not ready to give up on Jordan Love. That's what I'm saying.
I think if you go print that list, you will find out that 40% of those picks have been successful. And of that 40%, 10% have been long-term successful. Okay. That's what I'm sharing with you.
I'll tell you what, worst case scenario, how about we just get inside the top 3? We get Marvin Harrison Jr., call it a fucking day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Boom.
There you go.
And of those Super Bowls, 40% of them are won by fucking Tom Brady. So whatever, man.
Before we,
what are you gonna do?
Before we bid adieu to our guests, and before we go into the next quarter, I want to get into the meat of it, really, and ask a question that's been on everybody's mind all day, and really for 2 seasons. I'm gonna start with Reish, our guest. Reish, in getting into the meat of it, what's the perfect sandwich?
Oh, gosh. Hell of a question. I'll tell you, I'm a boring guy, and there's one sandwich I make every time.
Let's hear it.
You're going to have a little shaved honey ham.
Uh-huh.
You're going to have a little roasted turkey. Butter. Don't waste your time with mayonnaise with me. You got some butter on there. It might be a little clumpy. It's not always spread perfect. I like that. Right? Rustic, baby. You're going to put that on some wheat bread, maybe sourdough. Okay. You're going to really finesse it in there. You're going to rip the bread a little. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. Then you're going to cut up some uneven pepper jack or Swiss. Really just depends on the day.
It's always pepper jack.
Don't cut it right.
Yeah. You put that on there. Okay. So this is your cheese now. And then I want like 8 times the amount of cheese and lettuce. Iceberg. I don't want anything healthy. No romaine. Don't bring that weak shit. Okay. I want iceberg. I want the crunch, baby. And then it depends, you know, like, did the wife go grocery shopping? If she did, I'm going to get a little medallion tomato or 2 on there. And if she did, you know, times are tough, man. We just cut that shit up and eat it. But I'm telling you, dude, I'm a sandwich guy. I got about 5 of them a week, and they're all the same, and I'm loving life.
That's a hot take, my friends, from Mr. Andy Reish. Can we give it up for our friend one more time for coming in here, being a real sport, being a fucking MVP? Buddy, it's always great to have you. Again, I'm going to be sending over contracts for you so that we can switch roles here as we move into next season. And ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be seeing a lot more of Reish. Did you hear that, Mayhew? Oh, look at little pouty crying Mayhew up there in the corner.
Look, the man's a class act. I'll take him anytime we can get him, you know?
All right.
Can't replace a legend, Chaz. Thanks for having me, brother. It's your show. I'm just a guest.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back after this commercial break.
Grubby Law Offices. A call. That's it. Whether you plan to fall off a ladder on Monday, take a flop in a grocery aisle, or drive like an a-hole until someone crashes into you, you need a real jerk to sue the unsuspecting bastards. That's where Grubby Law Offices comes in. We have the jerks with the experience to fight with the bag of dicks insurance jerks. With more than $1 million Me Too losses than any other law firm, you are guaranteed to get a real patronizing narcissistic prick to represent your bogus claim. It was definitely your fault. You shouldn't have to pay. Call today. Grubby Law Offices. A call, that's it.
Welcome back to Two Dads and a Chess podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to everything that we're streaming on. That is YouTube, that is Spotify, that is iHeartRadio. We're going to move into talking about the Rams this week. As everybody that listens to this podcast knows, I do one thing and one thing only when it comes to the Packers. I watch them, and that's about it. I do not watch other football teams. I have no interest in watching other football teams. Why? Because they're not the fucking Packers. So this is when I usually turn things over to my main man, Mayhew, to kind of steer the ship a little bit, but I will definitely be dropping in from time to time. I do want to do that now. Mayhew, would you mind, leading us into a little bit about the Rams?
Well, so they are incredibly well coached by Sean McVay, who is a member of this branch, this Kyle Shanahan coaching branch that is delved off, which we basically kind of scooped up the remaining, pieces, and that would be Matt LaFleur. These guys are all running more or less the same offense with like their own like little tweaks. They know each other well. They're friends, outside of the game. And then once it comes time for the game, the chess match begins. I feel like we have lost 9 times out of 10. I feel like Matt LaFleur has not fared well against his predecessors, as it were. But you're going across the board here. Matt Stafford, quarterback. I think he's still like a lead. The guy's been injured quite a bit. You know what I mean? They've got some pieces.
For the Lions.
Yeah, they got some pieces. On the receiver end, Cooper Kupp is back after sitting out the first couple of weeks. He was recovering from, I think it was like ACL. Doesn't matter. He's back in fashion. Elite receiver. And then I'm going to fuck up this guy's name. It was like something like Pakua, I want to say. They drafted like in the 5th round this year. This rookie came in, and while Cooper was out, he caught 10 plus passes it was like 6 games in a row. He was like shattering like rookie records. Point being, they've got some pieces on the wide receiver end. Where it goes from there, offensively, I'm going to admit I don't know. Running backs, they traded away Cam Akers earlier this season. They had a cat that was really crushing and got injured. Defensively, we always got to worry about Aaron Donald, right? He's over there on the other side of the ball. He's a goddamn, he's a game changer. Anybody else in this pod know more than that? That's where I'm at.
Thank you for watching Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to close out. I'm kidding.
Matt Stafford hurt his thumb, so the key to this game will be hitting Matt Stafford in his thumb.
Thumb shots. Yeah.
Whatever you can do to get a little bit of helmet on that thumb, boys.
Now they're calling that penalty now. They're calling helmet to phalange. That's 10 yards, 15 sometimes. They don't fall for that. Like, no, they're watching for all that shit now.
This is a classic case of a team that when they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they're bad. They've lost every time they can't score 24 points. They've won every time they've put up more than 26 points. Packers defense, I would say in a normal year would be the key, but our offense is just, they're not dynamic enough to keep up with this defense.
If we had 4 more completed passes, the whole game dynamic changes. If we
makes that pick,
I don't want to get into the if we. I don't want to get into the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Again, this might as well be if Aaron Rodgers, if Brett Favre was still. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
No, we got to go with what we saw and what we had and what we did. We got to be realistic about taking it on the chin a little bit.
Absolutely well put, Chaz. Absolutely well put. That's spot on.
Really spun some gears there, guys. Are you all right?
Well, guys, I'm still gonna watch. Still gonna watch the game on Sunday. I'm still into it. You know. I give a shit.
I mean, of course.
That was the greatest. That was the greatest tension breaker of all time.
I've gotta. Man, you know what? Fuck it. I don't know. Don't you think that we're better than we've played, though? I mean, really? Like,
no.
The same.
That's what I've been saying for the last every episode.
We are just as good as we played because that's how we played.
Yeah, I know. I agree, but I just think that these same players were heading in a certain direction, and also hang on. TJ Slayton had a fucking great game. All right. Devontae Wyatt had a good fucking game. All right. Our defensive line showed up in that game and looked like pretty good. If you look at Mayhew, I don't know if you got the PFF grades or whatever up there. I don't know if we even care anymore because, offense is so bad that we don't even keep track of score anymore. But I feel like there's, as much as we hate Joe Barry, those defensive players are starting to say, fuck it, I'm playing for me. Maybe it's just to look good before the trade deadline.
Yeah,
but these guys are trying
their jobs. Yeah.
Honestly,
that's a fucking hot take, Tyson.
It shows your eye for the game, too, because according to PFF, as far as the top 5 defense, your boy Devontae Wyatt's coming in at number 2 and TJ Slayton at number 3, actually.
Nice.
Wyatt finished with 3 pressures, a run stop, and a fumble recovery, and Slayton delivered a career high 7 stops against the run, showing that maybe if these guys just get more reps, that, man, they can produce. And Tyson, I know we skipped past this earlier, but it's a bigger picture thing for me. Okay. We talked about this all last year. These younger cats that needed to get on the field, but didn't because of veterans that we felt comfortable with that were maybe unathletic and not very effective, but they've also played more games. You know what I mean? And that's the coaching system. Meanwhile, we have a GM that's trying to throw these players at them. And he's wondering hey, why are you not playing these guys that I'm drafting? I'm telling you. So they're battling back and forth too. And I don't think they're on the same page. I don't think the GM and the head coach like each other, in my opinion. And I think they have different agendas despite what they might have said going into this year. And what do I think they might have said going into this year, gentlemen, is hey, look, we know we're very young on offense. We know that we have a quarterback that we clearly don't believe in. Because let's be honest, anybody that renegotiates a contract to a 2-year deal where we can just dump this motherfucker as quickly as possible doesn't believe in their quarterback, not to the degree that they have with previous, you know what I mean?
Oh.
So maybe they're you know what? We know we're not going to be great this year, but we want to be competitive, kind of see how this quarterback plays, sort of feel it out from there. You can say that in a meeting room. You can put that down on paper. But once the NFL season starts and you start fucking losing and you start looking bad, there is no sport on the planet where you can quickly just get fucking fired. We don't care. Look at us. Look at us in this room, this podcast. I've never felt more agitated and just ready to fire fucking everybody from the first 2 and 5 season that I've ever experienced.
Amen.
But I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. We need to fucking fire a lot of people. Him? Who are you? What do? You're
get out of
fired.
Here.
Get him out.
Fucking fired. Yeah.
Who's your uncle? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, really, I agree. I feel like we need to gut it. I think we need to gut. I'm sorry, Goody needs to go. That's one thing that bothers me about this Rasul deal is because you're giving somebody whose players are maybe not working out and are looking pretty bad all of a sudden. Well, we just need to give him more ammo. We just need to give him more opportunities, more swings at the bat. I feel like we need to let somebody else take a crack at it because I swear we got something special here in Green Bay. It's not just another football team. This is something bigger. Maybe what do you got?
I just want to interject real briefly. I'll pass it right back to you. But the Razul thing, as I think about it more, is anybody familiar with the movie Moneyball? It's like one of my
Yeah.
personal favorites.
I
You know what I
love
mean?
that movie.
But basically, Brad Pitt at a certain point just starts trading away every fucking asset that this coach who refuses to play by his rules is like willing to do. You know what I mean? He's like, Pena's not gonna be able to play.
You're not going to be able to play
tonight.
Pena tonight.
Yeah.
Why is that?
No,
Well,
I'm
because
gonna play
he's playing
Well,
for
it's gonna be
Detroit.
tough because I just traded him to fucking who knows where. You know what I mean? So he's like,
Right.
hey, Joe Barry, I wanted you fired 2 years ago, but tell you what, I'm going to give you nothing to work with. You know what I mean? I personally, Tyson, do you feel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that there's like Chaz said, you got to go with what you actually have and what you see and what you actually are experiencing. This year, the players around the Green Bay Packers are not playing like professionals. They're just not at that level. They're not executing like professionals. They're not losing like professionals, and they don't look like they're ready to be a football team, which is confusing because we never stopped being one. So like I don't understand how we became like an expansion team overnight. It seems
We're
in
not.
that in
We're 3 games below 500.
God damn it, Ty, if you don't stop fucking debating me and everybody else, like you have some fucking danger in us having an opinion that's
No, I
not
like
the
it.
Green Bay Packers are going to be fucking great no
I
matter
like it.
what and everything's fine. It's
No,
frustrating.
Ty, give us more. Give us more. Everything's on the table here. Convince.
No. Tyson's right. I mean, it's bad. It's bad.
Okay.
I just don't think it's that. You're just like you
I
put us
know.
in the same category as the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like you're really like sending
we're
us to
worse
the
than them
I'd
bottom.
on
love
Like,
to be the Jacksonville
We're
Jaguars
worse
right
than
now.
them, bro.
That's
Reality check.
That's a good team.
We are not good.
Tyson,
I-
that's why it's got to be a clean slate situation.
I agree.
And we've
There's
touched
no
on it
other option. That's my point.
because we fucked it up from the get-go. Where we currently are is we basically picked a GM, which is just a disciple of Ted Thompson, which I already thought was like a rather stale situation. He actually didn't even get to pick his coach. Matt LaFleur, along with a bunch of mediocre fucking, aspects that were even there. I heard that he wanted to do like another round of like, interviews. And basically Mark Murphy then was like, I need to step in. We got to get this thing straight. We're going fucking Matt LaFleur, and that's how it is. And he's like, okay. So Matt LaFleur gets hired, but they're like, hey, Matt, only thing is we need you to keep Mike Pettin, okay? The previous defensive coordinator. What fucking coach doesn't get hired that can actually choose their entire staff? What GM doesn't get hired that has complete control over their coach? Because that needs to be fucking in sync. They need to have the same philosophy, the same fucking ideas of like where they want to be heading. You know what I mean? So then Mike Pettin shits the bed, and it's like, okay, Matt, you have your opportunity now to hire whoever you want to. And he picks the most mediocre fucking guy that has a terrible resume across the board and is more or less Mike Pettin. I love playing soft defense. You know what I mean? Not going to give up the big play, but you can just gash us over and over. And now here we are with what I think is a coach and a GM that don't even like each other. We're like selling off players like Razul to getting draft picks, which is fine if you can draft and develop, which I don't think we do well.
We can't develop. That's the problem.
And Tyson,
there you go.
We got to cut it all loose. I'll keep saying it.
Yep.
I just don't agree.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I understand it's a game of inches. I understand it's like some weeks things go your way, some weeks they don't. We didn't get housed. They didn't put up 70 on us. There was too much there. It looked like a good team being a bunch of bums, as opposed to a bunch of bums trying to impersonate a good team. And that's why I'm hammering on LaFleur this week, is because all of the complaints, all of them, the no identity, the no rhythm, the Shit, there was more of them, but it all comes down to no preparation, and he just must run like the world's softest practice because these guys are not ready for what happens on game day. Even though there are veterans on this team, there are guys that are playing well. I get the like compete for balls for wide receivers. Christian Watson's trying to learn how to play the flag. You know, he's playing maybe a little too much body, trying to draw the laundry. But man, receivers for being rookies and at most a first-year guy, I think have we're doing what we're doing. It's just this is what it looks like when the sausage is being made.
I've seen other people make sausage and it looks pretty good.
I've
watched other teams do turnarounds and it doesn't look like this.
Yeah,
I've seen other rookie. Hey, did you see that Levis guy who plays for the fucking Colts? He just wandered off the fucking bench, went in there and started looking like, I don't know, an NFL fucking quarterback, making some really difficult, low percentage, awesome throws without difficulty, just like he looked at before. You know, like there are ways that guys come in and take control. And right now we're not doing it. We're going the wrong way.
And Ty, for me, it's like if Cortland Sutton is going against a cornerback like Valentine and winning that one-on-one matchup, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
If wide receivers are running the same route, if the fucking offensive line is getting penalty after penalty over and over, week after week, Ty, I want to make one thing that's very clear is I don't think this team, like top to bottom, is trash by any means. I think like we've drafted a ton of talent. I think there are aspects of this team that are of a winning caliber. And I think that's where I'm the most concerned is that the coaching staff we currently have in place is not growing people. It's not making proper decisions. I know it's working with youth, but I'm fucking over that, where I wonder if we implemented a new, better coaching staff, and I don't know what that is.
I'm just saying this is a bumpy part of the road, and of course it is. Like this transition, what we're trying to pull off here, it's a dynamic shift. And if we come out of it better for it, we'll be the best young team in the NFL, which is fucking exciting if you're looking at dynasties. But you gotta weather the being a young team before you can be the best youngest team. And it's a parlor trick. But if he manages this, hats off to him. I don't think he's got the head coach for it, but I don't think we're too terribly far off.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Legit.
I think you just said it. You don't have the right head coach for it.
First and foremost, I got to give out my game ball. And this game ball actually is going to go to Andy Reish. Andy Reish for showing up, being a real fucking gentleman and a scholar, even though I want to say they stomped us, but they didn't. They didn't play
beat us
exceptionally well, but they won the game. You know what I mean? Which almost is worse in a way when you just shoot yourself in the foot. But gentlemen, as we get to the bottom here, I want to hear some score predictions. I'm going to go down the line. Tyson, Aaron, and Ty. Tyson, can you tell me what you think this score is going to be?
It's going to be 27 to 13. Rams.
Tyson actually stole my score, which is
really
no. We're definitely going to lose this game. I'll go.
You can keep it if you want.
He was almost being generous. No. Let's go 24-13. We're going to lose the Rams.
13
at home, and this nightmare will continue on.
Understood.
Yeah, I've never done this. I'm going to be the conundrum in this one. I've never done this. I'm picking the Pack to lose. Take the under, folks. It's Rams 18, Packers 6.
Gentlemen.
18 to 6? God,
it's a wonky 18 too. It's not a
windy day.
Yeah, it's a windy day. We're gonna see some weird special teams rules come into factor here. This game's gonna get ugly. They've got. Okay. I mean, they really have been just picking up like the best guy in his position from free agency for like the last 2 years. So We have a fighting chance, but we can't get the ball into the end zone. I'm going to trash talk them into winning. That's what I'm going to do.
Real quick. Bizarro world. Perfect case scenario. How do you want this game to go if like we totally turned it around? Because I feel like Jordan Love throwing 4 touchdowns, Aaron Jones catching 1. We get over 100 yards for our number 1 wide receiver, and Romeo Doubs has a good game, and like the whole thing just works all of a sudden, and it's just like magic, and we win like 48-20.
Oh, this is fun. This is a fun twist, Tyson.
Let's
Yeah.
do this. I'm going to take the Packers
best case scenario.
26-18.
Can I give my prediction before we move on to crazy town?
You know, it'd be fun. No, go ahead, Jesse.
Because I'm actually going to go a route you guys probably weren't expecting. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Packers are going to win this game 21-14.
Wow,
I think they're not going to get any extra stuff. Yeah, absolutely, because that's what I think is going to happen this week. As far as if we were just going to be, in this how do I put it? K-hole of a dream of we're just going to like win like crazy, awesome, like athlete gold medals, then I would say that obviously Robert Brooks is going to come out of retirement and he'll come back. He'll score 97-2. But like, I live on the planet Earth, and
Chaz, that's episode name for sure. That. The K-hole dream, like
this is where we are. We gotta get out of this fucking K-hole, dude. We've been stuck in this fucking K-hole for 4 weeks. Someone needs to fucking get us a no-nos, and we gotta get out of here.
Well, gentlemen, it's been my pleasure. Party. Obviously, it's been your pleasure because I was here and we had Reish. But before we close out, ladies and gentlemen, remember to like, subscribe, and follow. And please, if you wouldn't mind, share this with just one person. That helps our algorithm so much. Again, you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on iHeartRadio. Even though we're going into a bit of a K-hole of a situation that we're trying to dig ourselves out of, let's remember one thing. There's an amazing podcast I'm going to bring up for the last time, and that is John Meerdink. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to be better Packers fans. Can I get an amen, gentlemen?
Amen.
Yeah, we are trying to be smarter people.
Better Packers fans. I'm going to try and use that mentality as we go into this weekend. I think methinks we have to get to the hashtag, and that is, judging by the agenda, hashtag me don't like Rams. So I guess in 3, 2, 1,
I did the best I
don't
could.
like Rams. 3, 2, 1. Me don't like
Rams.
Boo Rams.
Nighty night.
2 dads and a chance, putting trophies on the wall. 2 dads and a chance is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. 2 dads and a chance, talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Most of gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air condition, cause it's bound to get hot. 2 dads and a chance, you know we live it and we live it right. 2 dads and a chance, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. 2 dads and a chance is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.